Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
It is time for some Friday night racing on the Captain Esports Network as we welcome you in to the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 2018 edition, if you will. As we get you ready, the Queen City, race number 7 of 16 in the 2023 Season 6. Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Queen City 200 here is qualifying about to begin. And we'll go down to the track here and cover qualifying before we get you ready for the race here in just momentarily. Of course, I am the captain. We welcome you in on this Friday evening to Charlotte. And I get these old school vibes as we get into this race. And the reason being is I get like the Ken Squire TBS feel back when the old UAW GM Quality 500 race used to be held during the daytime here at Charlotte. It was the only day race. And here we are now, ready to go here this afternoon or tonight in real life. 7 of 14, by the way, not the 16 race schedule. 14, before Casey yells at me about that. I wanted to make sure I fact-checked myself why I think there was 16 races on the schedule. The heck if I know. One thing I do know is qualifying is underway. Of course, the MHD Pole Award going to be handed out to somebody here in just a second as Nick Terrell, the 81 car, the newest addition to the CX2 team. I got told that I have to buy dinner for Casey or something every time I say CX squared. Maybe get some lashes or something. I don't know. Anyways, Mark Whitley setting the board already, 30.07 here on lap number 1 as he gets up there to the top side. This car very, very loose here at Charlotte. A lot looser than people expected. That's why you're going to see some lap times. Not as fast as maybe you saw in maybe in a normal race here at Charlotte, a night race or whatever. Remember, this track is one of the more sensitive tracks in all of racing. As Whitley sets the mark here in qualifying, as unfortunately Watkins Glen bit him last week in that chance to be a 4-time consecutive winner. As Whitley runs a 30.03. Joseph McWhorter making his debut in the series tonight. He is P2 in that 73 car. Kyle Ethier up to 3rd. Jackson Van Pelt, Christopher Heller, I should say, they're in the 4th or 5th position. J.W. Miller, Drayton Cook, as Josh Dillon jumps up there to P3. Nicholas Coate, they're in the 7th position right now for him. See who else has not ran a lap yet. Nick Leo out here on track, the Jewel number 69 car. Leo right now 14th fastest, and that's where he's going to qualify, it looks like, when it's all said and done. Here's been one of the up-and-coming fast cars here each and every week. Jordan Owens, the 20 car. The JD Designs number 20. As he brings it through turn 3 and 4 as Zach Henry jumps up to second, 30.06. Jordan P9, 30.26 right now. He's still got a lap. Down the back straightaway in turn 3 and 4 he goes. See that car kind of washing up a little bit, fighting some tight maybe entry to middle, and then gets free towards exit as he'll cross the start-finish line. 30.19 jumps to 7th. Track record for this circuit is a 30.56, so we're going to break the track record by about a half second. The Gen 4 last season, of course, at the older Charlotte, 29.77. So nowhere near the actual track record if you combine both circuits. As it looks like everybody but Thomas Stanley got 2 laps in, and right at the last second, Stephen Miles, 30.02, goes to the pole. Now, Stephen looking for that first win of the season. And Miles goes P1. It looks like, unless Carson George, John Kreider, or Justin Ray have anything for the one, it will be Miles winning the pole here for the Queen City 200. And it is official now with the updated to warm up. That gives him the pole. All right, so congratulations to Miles winning the MHD Pole Award tonight. Of course, presented by Mike Cusby Designs. So thank you for Mike for his hard work, of course, with the paints and stuff like that here. And I was thinking he might be racing tonight, but apparently he will not be here this evening. We'll talk to Miles here in just a second. But first, let's get you ready for tonight's race by showing you the points as we enter this race. Casey Carrington coming off a top 2 finish at Watkins Glen leads the points by 11 now over Mark Whitley, who unfortunately had a tough run there in the Finger Lakes region. Zach Henry 20 back in 3rd. Matthew Weeks 4th, and Christopher Heller right now top 5 in points. Stephen Miles right there, Jordan Owens, Kyle Ether, Nick Leo, and J.W. Miller, your top 10 as we enter tonight's race here at Charlotte. Team points 25-11, starting to kind of stretch it out a little bit here. TI hanging in there with 31 back, and then CX2 54 back there in 3rd. Spirit of Daytona 4th, and PTP your top 5 right now. The only change was down there at 8th as Fan Fuel past BS Incorporated in the point standings. Let's also recap Rookie of the Year and the manufacturer points as we enter tonight's race. Kyle Ether leading by 4 right now over his teammate J.W. Miller. Sean Cassidy is 3rd. Mike Hamlin, Chris Lewis. Your top 5 is it's slowly starting to become a teammate 2-horse race, unless Sean can have a good run in that Georgia Tech car here this evening. Chevrolet continuing to lead the manufactured points as we enter tonight. Dodge making a little bit of a run. And Ford, we're still waiting to show up, as unfortunately they have been on the struggle bus here with 13 points here so far in this race. As warm-up, going to go for another 3 minutes or so here, so I'm just going to quiet my mic for a second. All right, so we're going to grid them up here and get ready for the race here this evening. Of course, we'll get our 2 pace laps in before we get started here in this Queen City 200. Let's talk to our pole sitter, Stephen Miles, who got the MH Design Pole Award at the last second pretty much here this evening for the race. Miles, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, man. You were focused. We talked a little bit before practice and stuff. You talked about what you needed to do tonight. You felt like you needed to get a win in this race, and tonight's the start as you get yourself a pole tonight.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Especially, I felt I screwed up one. I was so sideways on the exit. I was very surprised on that lap. But don't put that back in my
Happy
head.
birthday,
I'm not
Queen,
trying to
as always.
I'm not trying to overdo it too early. I'm just trying to get a good feel for it. It's 134 laps, so it's a long time and anything can happen. And you know how Wheatley and Carrington and these guys are. So I'm just gonna try to manage this race best I can. I'm not trying to lead all the laps. I'm just trying to lead the last one.
How do you pace yourself in a race like this, knowing that the setup it's pretty free? So obviously you got to kind of race the racetrack a little bit here to take care of yourself.
Gotta focus, man. I gotta focus on racing myself and not making no mistakes. Once you feel it going around, just get out the throttle. Don't try to save it, be no hero like I normally try to do, and give up that spot or two or whatever, and just focus on racing the track and not people behind you. Because once you do that, she's gonna bite you or tires gonna wear out and a competitor gonna get you. So I'm just trying to get focused.
All right, buddy. Well, best of luck here tonight, and let's see if we can get you a win tonight.
Thank you, man. Have a good one tonight.
You too. Stephen Miles, the pole sitter tonight, presented by MH Designs, as he gets ready to rock and roll. Noticed a couple of cars did not make the grid here. We'll address that here in a second. First, the starting lineup is Miles on the pole alongside Mark Whitley, and he's one of those drivers that did not make the grid and is going to start on pit road. So, kind of a shocking development there for the 77. Zach Henry, Joseph McWhorter making his debut tonight in that 73 car. Will start outside of row number 2. Matthew Weeks, Josh Dillon, row 3. Jackson Van Pelt, Casey Carrington there in row 4. Kyle Ethier, Jordan Owens, row 5. Christopher Heller, Nicholas Coate in row number 6. Row 7 is Kobe Sutphin and J.W. Miller. Drayton Cook, Sean Cassidy there in row 8. Row 9, Jonathan Smith and Kyle Hall. Dalton Wilson, Nick Leo, they'll have row number 10 with Nick Terrell and Tim Abril in row 11. Row 12, Craig Martin and Chris Lewis. Row 13, Leslie Law, the Daytona winner. Thomas Stanley in that row. John Kreindler, Justin Ray, Carson George. The 29 starters. And Mark Whitley, Kobe Sutphin, and Thomas Stanley all did not make the grid, so they're going to start on pit road. Carson George apparently went for a tour of Hendrick Motorsports or something across the street, and we have not heard from him yet. Either that or got lost in the mall. That's possible, too. Somebody should tell him that that mall actually circles around. Anyways. Race information. 134 laps, 200 miles around this 1.5 mile track. 81 degrees right now. It's going to get cooler. I think as we go into the afternoon, it will be an all afternoon session. The clouds going to make it very interesting. Track temp at 92 degrees right now here in Concord, North Carolina. Of course, Concord Mills is that racetrack, or the mall I was speaking of. That sits over, it's pretty much across the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway. All right, so Miles and McWhorter are going to start on the front row now as the outside lane will move up to start this race halfway through this season. Season number 6 of the All-American Cup Series as we hit the green flag right now from the Queen City. McWhorter up through the gears and yanks the lead away from Miles. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com as the Whitley, Sutphin, and Stanley cars do get on track. And McWhorter, welcome to the league. First laps led right there for the 73. Miles falling back here a little bit as Henry gets to his inside. Matthew Weeks going to come there with him. Josh Dillon there also, and Jackson Van Pelt. A little bit of a line of cars. As I said, this setup kind of free a little bit here, so don't be surprised. You see some cars getting out of shape here, and especially at the start of this race, everybody got going pretty good there on the start. But sometimes these looser setups turn out to be the better races in iRacing. I think it's more because the cars have to race the track. And I say that as Nick Terrell having some issues. He's up in the wall. Another car up there into the wall hard. We'll see who that black car is coming into view. Justin Ray in the 38. He and Terrell having some issues, but we stay green as everybody stays straight. And Henry going to go to the front in the 39 car. Good question there from Harrington Ma 11, asking over under on cautions tonight. Brantley Roden throwing down the gauntlet, saying 8. Brantley, I'm going to take the under on that one. As here comes Weeks inside to 73. As Justin Ray comes to pit road, that's probably a meatball on that 73. He hit that, or on the 38, he hit the wall a ton. You can catch a replay of it. It's back here. There's Terrell into the wall, and then 38 gets loose and pretty much puts himself in the wall to keep from hitting Craig Martin. As the fight's back here, J.E.W. Miller there in that 6 car, the 60. That is Kyle Ethier. The 8, Christopher Heller. The 9 of Casey Carrington. As up front, here comes Weeks. Definitely seeing both grooves work right now as he's going to slide up turn 2. Very treacherous on that bottom side right there. Track a tough one when it comes to passing, especially on that bottom side. It seems like that middle, right about where Henry's running, that groove gets to be almost a good protection line when somebody's underneath you and you're able to just get the run off the corner, and it keeps the 11 or other cars on the inside from sliding around. You see Miller climbing the boards as he tries to get around that 73. 3 wide off 4. That's always tricky. They made it work. Great job by Heller and Carrington to be patient with that. Of course, we think of the 95 All-Star race. DW and Dale Earnhardt over there in that corner when they went 3 wide. I believe DW broke a few ribs in that wreck. So 85% fuel, 4 sets of tires in the pits here tonight, which means pit run will be somewhere close to about 40 laps. So it looks like about a 3-stopper potentially to the finish, depending on if the yellows fall and when. As it looks like Justin Ray and I didn't see who the other car was, just getting out of the pits. Getting reports that Carson George has been spotted over at the Joe Gibbs Racing over in the paint shop. So that ought to be interesting. Good luck to certain people in this chat right now. There's the 15 car. I can't remember if it's Cody or Coat. So I'm going to say both of them just to kind of cover myself. One of them I know I'm going to get right, but that's him in that 15 car outside of Kyle Hall. I was wondering if you were watching. 72 with Jonathan Smith to his inside there. I will compliment, though, if you've never been to Joe Gibbs race, that's one of the nicer shops out of them all. As the Bubble Yum car off the pace of Thomas Stanley. You would think that car would have some extra grip. Up front, weeks has gone by. Henry for the lead. Going to bring Josh Dillon in that Surge car with him. The two things I was talking to Casey about before the race, Carrington, you know, he and I are quite the who? Who's Grosso? Is there something I missed there? I'm trying to understand that. Chris Lewis on pit road, unscheduled stop there for the triple ones. Not sure what's going on there. But the thing about this. Oh, hold on there, Heller, up top there. The track. I mean, we're so used to back in the mid to late 90s, just being a daytime race in October. I always remember TBS broadcasting it, and the one thing I always remembered was going down the back straightaway, you had that bump. That was where the tunnel was going into turn 3, and then you had the humpy bump. Over in 3 and 4. That became a tradition. Let's check on Stephen Miles back here. The one car started on the pole, but has fallen back to the 8th position there as he battles his teammate Kyle Ethier. Jordan Owens there behind him in the Geek Squad JD Design number 20. As everybody gets into a rhythm, already 16 laps complete in this race. Let's check on Mark Whitley back here as he was one of the cars started on pit road, looking to keep the oval streak going now at 3 in a row, trying to get to his 4th straight oval win. And restart the overall race streak, if you will, as he's worked his way up to the 18th position. If he gets himself a yellow, he'll be back in the race here as we continue on. But you wonder what kind of strategy he and his crew chief there, Brantley Roden, they might be rubbing the magic 8 ball right now, trying to get the answer to that. Back here for second now is McCorder looking underneath Henry. Dillon right there with him, and Heller's starting to work his way back up. So I think you're starting to see the guys that kind of backed off the car for a second just to let it kind of get the tires warmed up and let the wear kind of kick in, and then now have started to push it a little bit. Now it's starting to take some spots back and work their way to the front. As we're 18 laps complete already. As Dillon looking inside there on the 73. So Mark Whitley, the only previous winner here at Charlotte, of course, in the field. And as I kind of joked with him, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and said I do an AI thing for Cup Series and the Xfinity cars. And in the Cup side, I run all the series that I broadcast for, just in an AI series, and have some fun with that. Whitley actually won the 600 here at Charlotte. I don't know, so maybe signs point to Whitley coming back from his start on pit road to win this race tonight. Oh, who knows? But he is the only winner so far here at Charlotte that is in this race tonight as Miles works his way past. Heller, and he also passed Carrington there a second ago for the 5th position. One car off the track right now. That is Chris Lewis. He's taking his car behind the wall. Justin Ray 3 laps down. Thomas Stanley 1 lap down here early in this race. Battle of Nicks back here as Leo looking underneath Cody for the 14th position. Ooh, both of them pushing up the track there a little bit. I think Cody was trying to adjust to Leo sliding up. So Matthew Weeks continues to lead, not by much though, 0.3 of a second over Henry. And it's about 0.8 back to McWhorter. Miles right there behind him. And I just overheard somebody in the microphone say, dude, I am struggling. Lap times have fallen off about 2 seconds almost. So obviously these guys are on a struggle bus out here with the tire wear. And you can get, as mentioned, close to 40 laps on a tank of fuel. Obviously 40, 80, 120. Makes you wonder if you do maybe even some kind of a 35, 70, 105 type run, maybe. As there goes Miles past McWhorter for 3rd. And Heller back here under attack from Van Pelt. There's kind of opened up a little bit of a strategery book you could do here. You could pit almost as early as, if you want to make it a 3-stop race, be about 35 would be your number then. Robert Jordan Owens, who looks inside of the Lucky Charms 07 car for the 7th position. How much you're rolling to the throttle here. Everybody's kind of migrated themselves to the bottom. Not sure if it's getting tight. I mean, I'm seeing some looseness out of the cars, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of tight center. If so, that could be creating the loose off because of the wheel turn. Van Pelt having some blinking issues. Somebody get that man some blinking fluid. Appreciate the viewers watching here tonight. I see Patty Heller is always cheering on her son, Christopher, there in the 8 car. I know you see it, whoever the young jock person is. Up there up top watching. See Harrington. Is he in the race tonight? Why aren't you racing, Mr. Harrington? Of course, Brantley Roden cheering on his team. And then the German name, we'll call it, Asking where Grosso is when we need him. I still don't understand that one. But anyways. Drayton Cook back there trying to fight with the 8 and the 9 as Kyle Hall comes to pit road. That's kind of a tradition move right here. The 87 first one to pit road. A little early here. Oh, I got you, brother. Well, your homework is to go get me more viewers, buddy. That includes your firefighter friends. 4 tires and fuel for the Orlando native, or Daytona native, somewhere there in Central Florida, as he pulls away. Week so far holding a pretty wheel up here in the front. He's got about 8 tenths now over Henry. Miles right there in third as Dalton Wilson comes to pit road. So I'm trying to think here. 33, 66, 99. At 99, that's 35 laps. So yeah, the window's open. But we're right there. I mean, if you pitted at 31, 62, 93, that's 41 laps. So for Kyle Hall, he might have to save a little bit somewhere in these stints. Lap 32, though, the window is open. You can come to pit road anytime now and make this a 3-stop race. And here comes Carrington right on cue. Say that 3 times fast. 45-mile-an-hour speed limit right here. Sean Cassidy on pit road. As mentioned, Dalton Wilson is in. All right, who's got the crying Jordan meme as a pit box? Or a pit flag? As Drayton Cook comes down pit road, Tim Averill, John Kreidler. This is at lap 35. And there's Christopher Heller back there in the 8-car pitting. Nick Leo, Nicholas Cody on pit road. Pit stops for the first time. Josh Dillon on pit road. Kyle Ethier coming in. Jackson Van Pelt, Mark Whitley, J.W. Miller now on pit road. And Whitley actually got ahead of Miller there, so that just tells you this 77's flying. As Whitley pulls away McCorder, Jordan Owens, Jonathan Smith all on pit road here. And leaders are in as Weeks, Henry, and Miles all come in. So did you see 38, 39? Some people maybe doing 40, but even still at 40, it's still a 3-stop race. So get to pit road here, get your tires. I mean, if you're running mid-pack to the back, you could try running this thing out. Always try something different if you're running off the pace to the lead. As we see the 3 leaders right here in a photo, Weeks pulls away. Leslie Law, is that a 2-tire stop? 12.4. Have to check on that one. As here comes Colby Sutphin in. Yeah, that is an accurate number, by the way. 12.2 for Leslie Law. So I think that's a 2-tire stop. For some reason on the 27, he's not going to have a good feeling car here for the next couple laps. As Sutphin pulls away and the lead goes to that guy. Casey Carrington was the first one on pit road. And now leads the Queen City 200. 4.3 seconds over Christopher Heller. Kyle Hall now up to third. Matthew Weeks fourth and Zach Henry your top 5. It's Craig Martin having some blinker issues, it looks like there. There's Leslie there on them 2 tires. Look at he's swatting flies in that thing. Kind of curious if there was a mistake made maybe there or something with the pit stop or what. Why he only took 2 tires. So as we're settling into the second run of this race, I do want to point out that, of course, we have 8 races to go in the overall season standings. Of course, yes, there's season 5, season 6. Of course, we finished a 5th one back early this year, and now we're in season 6. But there is the overall 2023 point standings that we're going to start showing graphics here next week when we go to the Brickyard as we get closer and closer to the end of the season. But definitely want to point out there is only a 2-point separation right now between Matthew Weeks and Christopher Heller for the overall points battle there, where Casey Carrington 34 back in 3rd, Stephen Miles only 60 back in the 4th position, and the way he's been running, you can even throw Mark Whitley potentially into this battle. He's 136 back. Again, 6 races to go. Or I'm sorry, 8 races to go overall. As Stephen Miles works the inside of Josh Dillon, that is the 7th position. Step back here, a little fight here. There's Whitley, who's up to 13th now. As Cody battling for 15th with Jackson Van Pelt. Had a rough stop there. Kyle Ethier also in this fight. Weeks battling for second. It's all 3.8 seconds back. Heller's going to let him go. So I think that 11's definitely showing he might be the fastest car in this race tonight. See if he can hawk down that 9 car. And Brantley points out the obvious here. The 77 actually missed the grid, so for him to be running 12th, only 10 seconds back, you know, you could argue that if that 77 can get up here, him and the 11 could be battling for the win of this race. But you know what? Don't want to disrespect the other drivers here, because there's, I mean, Carrington's doing a good job running in the lead here with the short pit in the undercut there. But Weeks is almost a half second faster each time by. Kyle Hall off the pace. See some left front damage on the 31 car. Not sure what happened there. And what happened to Kyle? Did he get loose through the corner? This is a few laps back, so let's go here. Here we go. Yeah, Kyle slides up the track here. Oh, and he just gets free off of Jordan Owens, cuts it to the apron. And then Ethier and those guys had to avoid him. The field pretty spread out. And Weeks has literally chopped that number down big time. Zach Henry starting to cut into that time a little bit. Heller's got it down under 4 seconds. So does Miles. So I think you're starting to see where Carrington has kind of hurt himself taking tires there at lap 33, but he's done a good job leading here for about 15 laps or so with the older tires. So credit to him. He might actually steal some track position here in this race before it's over. See how much he battles this 11 car. Now he's going to let him take it in the 3 and 4 here. So move Weeks back to the front. Stephen Miles in the battle of GM Products. The Chevy passing the Pontiac for the 4th position here. Appreciate the viewers watching tonight. If you're new to the chat, hit that subscribe button, please. Of course, we're on every Friday night covering the All-American Cup Series. I always appreciate what Casey Carrington, Kyle Hall, and Joseph Penn, who's hopefully not falling asleep over there. And always appreciate the viewers and stuff. Of course, with my new gig that just started this week, now from Indiana, of course, I got everything set up. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not on my cell phone anymore. But first week of work here has worked out tremendously. Gotten home early each day. Have not had to rush to start a broadcast. Kind of is a weird feeling. For second, Henry, top side on Carrington. And he finishes off the pass. So Jonathan Smith on pit road. That's an unscheduled stop for the 72. As pit stops will open up here, probably, I would say, well, 32 is the earliest you can do. 64 would be your next lap. So here in about 5 laps, we'll be open for pit stops for a second round. As the music just continues to get louder with that 77 car. Down to 7.3 seconds, by the way. That was 10 seconds at one point. But of course, the quicker, the more towards the front they get, the harder they get to pass. Jordan doing a good job. As pass for third. As here comes your pole sitter, Miles, back to the front. 2.9 seconds back. As Tim Abrams going to come to pit road here as soon as the window opens up. We got a couple of good battles here. There's one here and then go back about a half straightaway. This has now become a 4-car tango. Oh, Miller pushing up into Jackson a little bit. Kyle! That almost got ugly. Good job by these guys to work things out here. But now Carrington falling back into the hands of McCorder here for fourth. And you see McCorder with some right front damage on that 73. Must have been the outside wall at one point or something. Everything's kind of smoothed itself out up front here. These guys have even calmed it down for a second. Looks like 18 cars in the lead lap as we come up on halfway next time by in this Queen City 200, race number 7 of the All-American Cup Series. And by the way, Whitley did get by Jordan Owens, I should say. So we were watching the other battle going on there as Terrell slides up from his teammate there, Dylan. He did get by Dylan also. So Whitley up to 7th now, and his next car, or victim, or whatever you want to call him, is 6th place Christopher Heller, about a second and a half up. Leslie Law on pit road now, so hopefully he'll get 4 tires this time by. Sean Cassidy on pit road. See Van Pelt trying to put some pressure there on JW as he continues to fight with the 60 car there behind him, Kyle Ethier, and also Drayton Cook, who now comes to pit road. Ooh, you see the 6 got real loose there. Almost a tight loose. Van Pelt makes the pass topside. Nice job by him. So when do we see the pit stops here? As Weeks 1.4 seconds out on Henry. Been in control for the most part for this race. Kyle Ethier going to be the first on the lead lap to come to pit road. Sorry, Drayton Cook actually was on the lead lap, so is April. So 4 tires and fuel to 60 pulls away. 15-2, and here comes Cody to pit road. Cody on pit road, and here comes Carrington. Here comes Whitley to pit road, lap 73. Nick Leo on pit road also. Whitley looks like another strong entrance on pit road. That is how he's making up a lot of positions, is that move right there to pit road. He was right on the back of Carrington. So he's getting everything he can out of that car. 15-1 for Carrington as Jordan Owens and Christopher Heller come to pit road. One thing we should say, watch out for that manhole cover in turn 1. I always bring that up. Need to bring it up again because somebody will likely hit it in this race. Oh, Heller slides past his pit stall. Good job getting in reverse real quick. In this kind of race, not the mistakes you want to make. As the bad luck kind of continues for the 8 as he's had all season. You see Owens actually able to beat the 8 out of pit road because of that mistake. J.W. Miller, Jackson Van Pelt to pit road. More tires for the 6. He pulls away. And Van Pelt pulls away. So, question is now, when do we see the leaders come to pit road? Of course, we saw Carrington just a second ago. Of course, the longer they go, the guys that came in for tires are going to jump to the front. But here comes Weeks now. The car that has dominated so far early in this race. McWhorter on pit road, also the 12 of Josh Dillon. Zach Henry still yet to pit, so is Stephen Miles. They're on the front stretch right now going into turn 1. There you see the 9 going by of Carrington. So there's your undercut right there. That is literally about 4 laps right there, difference on tires. Thought I heard Stephen Miles saying he was coming to pit road, but he didn't come to pit road there. So here comes the fresh tires of Cassidy. And Stephen Miles is going to come to pit road. And so is Henry. So both of them. Lap 79 on pit road. So 54 laps to go in this race. Tires and fuel for both the 1 and 39. And that leaves the lead to Colby Sutphin as of right now. And Colby, the only car not to come to pit road yet. Takes a wide arc to pit road, about hit the inside wall, and now does. Looked like he was going to pit for the All-Star race there. Let's go to the front because there's Weeks. Outside lane. Making it happen. 52 laps to go. Remember I told you about the pit stop from the 77, how he got such a great entry. I'm going to try to get you a replay of it, but look who is third now in this race. The comeback has pretty much happened. 1.6 seconds back now. All right, so let's go back. He already has pit stall here. Let's back it up here. I mean, here goes down the back straightaway. Carrington is right up ahead there. Watch this. Getting everything he can out of that car. I mean, that little bit of time right there is huge when it comes to pit stops like that. As Ether and Dylan battle for the... Where's this at? 8th position. So 1.5 seconds now. Weeks leads over Carrington. Whitley 2.5 back. And then Zach Henry 5.8 seconds back here in fourth. McWhorter doing a great job here in fifth in his debut tonight. Led the first lap. Got a little bit of damage on that right front. He and his green chair running into fifth position. As now Ethier looking outside of his teammate Miles here for ninth. Next week, you kind of saw it mentioned by Harrington there in chat, Indianapolis, the Brickyard, which, by the way, was announced this week that the Brickyard 400 returns next season for Cup racing. Fantastic news for the traditionalist. Which, by the way, I should mention, not to humble, I'm more of a humble brag here, but I created that AI series to kind of base off of what I think the Cup series should look like next season. And so far, from the rumors and the different things I've heard, I think I've done a pretty good job. Sonoma being a part of the West Coast swing, it looks like, which would move it early in the schedule. The Brickyard coming back. The Charlotte race coming back to the oval again. And then the one big rumor that seems to be going around is the Canada race that was being planned, it looks like, for the Cup Series next season, and the Xfinity Series looks to be potentially in jeopardy. And if that happens, we could be finally years, let's see, what, 15 years in the making? Could see a Cup race at Iowa? As Carrington starting to fall into the clutches of Whitley and Henry, battle for third, or for second and third, I should say here. I just heard Casey cue the mic and say he might figure out the Da Vinci Code before he figures out 3 and 4. The secret to 3 and 4, this is actually one of my favorite tracks. He has to back up the corner, and he needs to put the left front tire on that blue line. He has to paint it like Bob Ross, literally. Back up the corner and put it right on that line and let it work. But unfortunately right now his biggest disadvantage is having 5-lap older tires. As he'll fall to fourth. You almost have to use the white line as a reference point, and then eventually you almost got to back up the corner even more. Trail break in. As issues for Kyle Hall. And he's having trouble here in turn 4. Front straightaway here, tries to keep it low. Everybody pretty spread out now. 97 laps complete, all caution free here so far. Got one more round of pit stops, and that round pretty much opens up right now. I mean, you could pretty much pit from this point forward and go all the way on fuel. It's just a matter of the tire wear. We're starting to see how big of a issue that is coming into play. Matthew Weeks has been the dominant guy here so far. Driver of the night, though, has, I think, easily been Mark Whitley, starting on pit road, missing the grid by accident, and driving all the way up through the field to third without a single hiccup in this race. Pretty impressive there, because you pretty much start about 3/4 of a track behind as Heller comes to pit road right as the window opens. So he's going to try to race this track backwards a little bit when it comes to the pit strategy. Tim Abril on pit road also. So by doing this, what Heller's doing is going to try to take advantage of the tires, go as far as he can go, and get ahead with an undercut and try to hold off the other cars and maybe gain some track position from it. Interesting play here. Abril on pit road, Kyle Ethier coming in also. As Carrington comes to pit road. So here comes the first of the leaders in. $15.7 for Carrington. Kind of a slower stop there. As Mick Order on pit road. And Mark Whitley to pit road here. So if you're Weeks, do you keep going here? I think that's what he has to do, is just keep on your strategy, what you've been running all night. Because right now, these guys pitting early are kind of putting themselves at the risk of a yellow, but otherwise, I think it's their only strategy they can try here to potentially win this race. There goes Whitley leaving as Owens and Dillon come to pit road. 31 laps to go. John Kreidler, J.W. Miller, those guys to pit road here. Here comes Leo. Here comes Cody to pit road. 30 laps to go. See, Weeks pitted at 76, Henry at 79, Miles at 79. And we're at 105 right now. So technically, Weeks and Henry and Miles could go another 5 to 10 laps, I think, here. Sean Cassidy comes to pit road. And here comes Henry now. And here comes the leader to pit road. Matthew Weeks is in. So Miles going to take the lead here. So Miles going to lead the race now over Carrington. He's going to be pretty much the last one. And you still got Colby Sutphin out there that is going to need to pit. As we get down to it here. So Whitley and Carrington right now looking at about a 6-second lead, I should say, over Matthew Weeks with 26 to go. And obviously Weeks with the 6-lap fresher tires. Question now is, I think Miles, I wonder if he's playing the long card here and going as far as he can go. As here's Carrington and Whitley battling for second. The battle of white and blue cars. Somebody's smoking, a caution is out. Caution out. Somebody was spinning, coming to pit road, and that just fell right into Stephen Miles' lap. Thomas Stanley was the car trying to get to pit road, I believe. Goes for a lazy spin, keeps it down. And look like Whitley maybe caught the wall there a little bit. This just made things interesting. So now, what do you do? Everybody's got tires, because we've only had to pit 3 times. So there should be 1 set for everybody. Miles has 2 sets, because he had not made his final pit stop yet here. But this should easily give him the lead of this race. Top 4 have come so far. Top 5, 6, 7. Now, the other person that might have made way here is that car right there. It just popped in the screen, the 77. Mark Whitley finally going to be able to be on the same set of tires as the leaders when we come to this restart. He has honestly shown that he has one of the faster cars in this race. 110 laps, caution free. Before Stanley brings out the yellow. All right, so 21 laps to go. Probably will get the one to go this time by. Another car that caught a good break there is Colby Sutphin, the 7th place car. He was another one that was pitting late throughout the race, and there he is in 7th now. Stealing some track position away, so good break for him. Looks like a lot of cars going to take the wave around here, so this might actually get delayed. The restart here as we allow cars to cycle back around to the lead lap or to gain a lap back here. Now, of course, cautions breed caution, so this could get interesting. I think someone who mentioned it in chat. Let's see. Harrington, right there. I'll take the under on that, maybe 3, but probably will be in late in a run or on green flag stops. Pretty accurate, I would say, right there. Good call. Credit to you. You can get a free bowl of ice cream from your freezer when you get home. All right, so what late race drama are we going to have here tonight? Pace car lights still off. As the field has caught up, let's see if... I think they're going to let them go to green here. So 19 laps to go. We're going to try to quiet it for a second here and let you guys enjoy a little turn it up here for just a second. Brantley, this one's for you, buddy. Crank them speakers. Have wrecked over in turn 2, 3, and 4 as Mark Whitley has taken the lead. on the restart here. A second caution comes out. Let's see what took place here. 3 wide down the back. Two cars just meeting in the middle, it looks like, unfortunately. Just a product of tight racing there at the end of this race. Oh, right there. That's kind of where it started. A contact almost with the Ethier and that Dalton Wilson or Drayton Cook, one of the PTP cars. And we got some cars coming back to pit road here. Jordan Owens, Kyle Ethier, Nick Cody, JW Miller, as I mentioned, Ethier, Cook, and Abril. Looks like maybe getting some damage fixed. As Whitley took the lead on that restart. And Stephen Miles, once again on that bottom lane, kind of struggled, but I think there might be a play involved there. Miles might be saving the tires just a little bit. As if you remember, in the beginning of the race, Miles kind of fell back like that, but then worked his way up to the top 2 before pit stops. So it might be getting to a point where, unfortunately, tire saving might be a little bit of a negative, but you might still be able to get something out of nothing here. So next week, Indianapolis. As we take a peek over at the schedule. The 3rd annual Brickyard 200 next week. Then we go to Richmond on the 13th of October. October 20th, it's Talladega, Kansas. Then the Legacy Phoenix track. That's the one with the grass dog leg. That'll be interesting. Darlington and Homestead to finish out the schedule right before Thanksgiving time. Of course, all the races Friday night, 8:30 Eastern, be broadcasted. We're around 8:15 or so will be on the air. Here in the Queen City 200, been the story of dominance by the 11 car. Matthew Weeks has led the most laps here tonight, but the comeback story is at 77 right there in the front. Mark Whitley, who's won the last 3 oval races, started on pit road. Let's actually, I want to go back to the beginning of this race real quickly before we go live. To the start. And for those who've never had the starting on pit road experience or understand that what that concept is. So basically, let's watch here. So they're going to get the green flag here in this race. Now let me fast forward ahead. It shows the delayed green here. Right, still in 1 and 2. Still in backstretch. All right, so here we go. Green flag is going to come out here in a second. So Mark Whitley is over here on pit road. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to have any kind of timing to tell you how far behind he is at that moment. But let's see where the leader is by the time he clears and gets up to speed. All right, so you're going to see the field come out, turn 4. They're going to take the green. So basically, he takes the green here, and there's going to be a delay on his screen. It tells him before he can leave his pit stall. So the field's going to fly by here. Right there, he's allowed to go. So it was about, 10 seconds? So Whitley leaves, gets up through the gears. The field's already gone through turn 1 and 2. He about got penalty right there. All right, so right there, he's only a full straightaway back from the leaders and is, what, 27th or so at that point in this race. Caution comes out at lap 112, or I'm sorry, at lap 112, and let's show you at that point. He had passed all the cars, went through pit strategies. I guess we got the green here. And green's out. Whitley gets the restart here. I was going to try to show you, but we went green. So Whitley, Weeks, Heller, Carrington, Henry, your top 5. You see Miles has fallen back to 8th already. Sometimes I try to show you a cool replay. So can Weeks get to Whitley? Fastest 2 cars, you could argue, all night. And look at Sutphin inside of Henry for 5th. Ooh, almost leaning on each other there. Weeks, 29.96, fastest lap of the race right there. Oh, Colby got a little free up there on the top side. Nice save on his part. Owens up to 8th. Miles all the way back to 9th now with 10 laps to go. 0.4 of a second separating first and second. Heller also right there in third. Got that shade in turn 1. Should be helping a little bit on entry. Mark Whitley entered this race winning 3 in a row, or entered Watkins Glen winning 3 in a row, was leading that race, and unfortunately wrecked from the lead. And now he gets loose in 2. That's going to allow Weeks to get up here. I thought he was related to you, Brian. He's been in this league for all this season at least. Colby. Unless he's got another first name, and or he might be named after him. I don't know. Wakes is there. 6 laps to go. See the different entries. You see where Weeks is getting a little bit lower than Whitley. Whitley slid up again. Got a little too high off 2. Weeks is there. Well, I don't know if it's her or him. I don't play that judgment on iRacing. You just never know. Better turn 2 there for Whitley. 4 laps to go. Weeks got a little too tight that time off, too. Very easy to do at this track. Get to the throttle, think you're good, and all of a sudden it just slides. That dirty air might be killing the 11. Two to go. As we showed before the restart, Whitley was a half straightaway back on the start of this race. Was within, 2 seconds when the caution came out. Has taken advantage of the fresh tires along with the field. And now sits about 2 miles away from going to victory lane again for a 4th straight time on the ovals. Weeks trying everything he can as he's led the most laps, but here we go, final lap. Does Weeks have anything? Ooh, Whitley they both getting loose. Mark Whitley starting accidentally on pit road, comes from behind and takes the win at Charlotte, holding off Matthew Weeks and Christopher Heller in his 4th straight oval win. And you can tell Matthew Weeks is not a happy camper because as soon as he crossed the line, he was gone. I've been there before. I know that feeling. Parks it. Might be a sponsorable cause right there. As Whitley wins it by 3/10 over Weeks. Heller comes back to finish 3rd here tonight. Casey Carrington 4th. Jordan Owens, great top 5 again for that 20 cars. McWhorter makes his debut, finishes 6th. Henry 7th. Miller 8th. Stephen Miles 9th. Drayton Cook ends up getting a 10th place finish. Colby Sutphin 11th. Nicholas Cody 12th. Kyle Ethier 13th. Josh Dillon and Jackson Van Pelt finishing your top 15. Tim Averill finishing in the 16th position. Sean Cassidy and Kyle Hall end up 17th and 18th respectively. 19th to Craig Martin. John Kreidler 20th. Leslie Law 21st. Thomas Stanley 22nd. Dalton Wilson 23rd. Nick Leo and Nick Terrell 24th and 25th with Jonathan Smith, Justin Ray, and Chris Lewis unfortunately finishing 27th and 28th. As for Carson George, he has still not been reported. Last seen around the Concord Mills Mall. All right. So now I want to go back. Let's show you the restart since I was trying to show the replay of where Whitley had started the race basically. And unfortunately, I pulled an old school broadcast restart move where you missed the whole complete restart. I see Whitley gets a real good start. Remember, no more Geico restart zone rule. And Whitley was able to get out there and get the jump. And was able to just maintain and hold off the guy who led the most laps here tonight. So as I was trying to show you before the start of this race, for those who didn't see this, there's the back of the field, as I was saying. So Whitley takes the green on pit road, and how he didn't get penalized right there is a miracle. Is already, what, a full straightaway back of the field. First caution comes at 112. And we hit stop there. And let's show you where Whitley is at that moment. He is battling for second in 3 and 4. So, I mean, he made up all that time in a 112-lap run before the cautions. And then, of course, he was able to put tires on with the field and be able to pretty much catch up at that moment to go to victory lane this evening. So, fantastic race, fantastic effort. As we'll talk to the top 3, starting with Heller, who finishes third. And if I can get him in the right channel, there we go. As Chris, man, great run here tonight. Obviously, looked like you had about a 3rd to 8th place car. I know you kind of went up and down a little bit there, just battling, trying to get the best strategy possible there. And you're able to fight back to a 3rd tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had similar speed to Zach, but I had to use up my tires more just to get to where I guess, ended up. But Zach's probably the one that should be in the top 3 versus me. I just kind of got lucky, I guess, with everything that played out.
Well, I think if anybody deserves to have a little bit of luck this season, it's you. I mean, you've had your struggles this season, being the champion from last season, and to fight back in a car tonight that wasn't the best behaving. Thing was tight and looked like loose through the corners, and then just battling everything out there tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty much tight on entry. It was okay through the center, and then it's just loose off. There's a couple times where I'd like miss my mark and then I'd get tight, but it was either you hit it and you're gonna be loose off the corner. Or if you miss it, you're probably gonna be a little tight.
Well, still, it was fun to watch you guys race in and get that 112 lap green flag run at Binging. Had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I missed my pit box on.
I did see that.
One of them. Yeah, darn.
Sorry.
Nah, it's okay. Yeah, I missed my pit box. I was trying to get everything, and I was like, "Yep," I ended up in the guy pit box ahead of me.
Well,
So,
good thing. Good thing there's no NASCAR officials here. But great job tonight, man, and send a shout out whoever you like to.
Yeah, I would have ran over that official if he was standing there.
He shouldn't have been standing there.
Yeah, it was like Happy Gilmore, right? But no, I gotta thank Zach. I gotta thank you for the broadcast. Gotta thank Casey for running the league. Gotta congratulate Mark on another win. He should have 5 in a row right now, but
Yeah.
he's on a tear right now, and yeah, I think that's everybody. Well, Brandon for not being here, I guess. Again.
You might want to use the final standings as motivation because he's like still in the top 5 in the overall standings for the season.
Yeah, and he ran like what, 2 races?
Yeah.
It's crazy, but he's probably gonna fall down a little bit tonight now. But yeah, it's just insane how good of a season he had last year. But yeah, I guess that's everybody.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on your top 3, and we'll see you at the Brickyard next week.
Yep.
As Christopher Eller finishing in the 3rd position tonight. And I think, obviously, he's disappointed, but I think this guy's probably the most disappointed, leading the most laps here tonight. And I had a feeling that if a caution came out, it was going to make things very interesting. And unfortunately, Matthew became the the big victim, I guess, of these cautions. I know got to be feeling pretty terrible right now.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I wanted to win, dude, so bad. I was fast tonight, dude. I felt so good, and just an untimely caution. That's all it was.
What about this track tonight just gave you that feel that allowed you to be comfortable? Because I mean, let's be honest, I don't think anybody was comfortable, but you seem to be the most.
It's just this track, dude. Ever since I got on iRacing, and I race a lot of cars here, it's probably one of my best tracks to race, and I just have a certain line, dude. And no matter what car, it's just like Darlington. No matter what car, dude, I bring to this track, I'm fast. I have a line figured out, and I had this track circled tonight because I knew this is probably one of my best shots to get a win this season or another win. And man, I just love ripping that white line, that bottom,
Mm-hmm.
right on that blue line, putting that left front down there and just gripping. Man, it just feels so good. And man, I felt like we had him covered tonight. And then, yeah.
Just a couple of times, honestly, I saw you were, especially in that last run, you were entering a little shallow and almost getting your nose in some air, some clean air.
Yeah.
And by just that little bit, and it looked like it was helping you. And there was a couple times he slid up in turn 2. And then he made it look like a little adjustment that just made the difference in the end there.
Yeah, I started driving way too hard. I was so mad, dude.
Right.
I was just driving so hard, diving that corner in, and then the couple of times I tried to go to the outside and one, I got really loose, and that just cooked my tires, dude, and I just fell off. And props to Whitley, man. He showed up at the right time. What you got to do, dude?
Yeah, no kidding on that one. But hey, credit to you, man. You led plenty of laps. I want to say at least half the race. You were in the lead, so credit to you on that one, and continuing your good bounce back season after your championship in season 4. And send some shout outs whoever you like to.
Yeah, I was trying to get this win so I can get back in the points, man. I want to battle Mark for it. I feel like we're the best this season. I feel like me and him have just been battling out. But shout out to JD Designs on the car, 213 somewhere on my other car, JV Designs, you in the booth, man. I tell you every week I'm up here, man. You do a hell of a job by yourself, man. I love your broadcasts no matter what. Even your other stuff, the Sim 500, I go back and watch because y'all race on nights I run. So I go back and watch, dude. You do a hell of a job.
I appreciate
And
that.
Casey, dude, he runs a great league. I love racing this league. It's probably I have two favorites league, the Elite and this league, and I look forward to these races every single week, dude. I enjoy them. And everyone, congrats on a good race tonight. I had fun tonight. Besides the late caution, I'm sorry I was mad, everyone, but I was just one of those tracks I love to win at.
Hey, it's totally understood to be mad when you're out there pretty much beating the field. And I was watching the times throughout the race, and I'm like, man, if this caution comes out, it's going to become a 2-horse race. And I know Matthew does not want that, but unfortunately, it's the way it went. And, sometimes you have your days, sometimes you don't. But, man, great job tonight still.
Yeah, man, thank you. And shout out to Mark, man. Good dub, dude.
Absolutely. Matthew Weeks, the second place finisher tonight. And, yep, obviously you could hear the disappointment. Totally understandable. I mean, went out there and let's see if I can pull up the race stats real quickly here. I'm sure the points are updated. Casey's pretty stout at doing that. 77 laps at 134, and unfortunately finishes second in the race. So, as they say, sometimes the dominant car does not win, as they say. So let's get Whitley down here as he goes to victory lane tonight for the 4th straight oval race. Unfortunately, fell one hospital hop away from potentially 5 in a row at Watkins Glen last week. But, man, way to rebound. I know you lost a lot of points last week, and you almost tried to put yourself in a big hole tonight, starting a full straightaway back. Talk about, first off, the composure that you had to keep, because obviously as you're getting later and later into the race, and this caution's not coming out, you're starting to have to try desperate things, and I know that had to be kind of hard.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be the last time I'm on TikTok during the warm up. I can tell you that right now.
Nice.
I looked up. I think I looked up in time to see it go to 0. But yeah, it was pretty much just the whole night was just trying to just pick one off one at a time. I wasn't even really thinking of the caution. We had really good long run pace. I feel like we were one of the better cars on the long run throughout the field. So it was just about taking it easy, picking them off one at a time, and at the end there, it was just about really battling Casey because me and him are really locked in the points battle. So I knew. At one point I wasn't even really trying to. I had figured the win was out of reach, so I was just trying my best to finish in front of Casey. and we got a little lucky that the caution came out right when I passed him on track.
Yeah.
So that couldn't have come out. Oh man, if this had been last season, it'd have come out 10 seconds sooner, and I wouldn't have passed him. But our luck's going better this year. So yeah, it was pretty much just once we were up there on that last restart, I mean, it was just full send and go. Didn't get the greatest jump on that initial restart, but I don't know if the 1 was just taking it really easy into 3 or if I just really just sent it into 3 that deep. But I got alongside and got around him, and I was just like, all right, set sail, and got another quick caution. And I knew Matthew was going to be tough to beat. He'd been leading most of the race, so it was just about hitting your marks, not making mistakes. He pressured me a couple times. I think he got loose when he got real close to me. I don't know if the air got off the car or something, but it was just hit your marks and try to come around and win the damn thing, because didn't think I was going to halfway through that race, because that was a real boneheaded move just for not paying attention when to grid up. So glad we got away with that one. That's for sure.
Mark was busy looking at that. I don't know what the proper name of the dance is, but there's that whole Ashley look at me dance that seems to be popular. Where is that the one you were doing? Probably trying to practice that dance. Maybe?
Nah, I don't even remember. I think it was something about AI taking over the world or something like that. I don't know.
So I do want to ask you about that final run, because there was a couple times in turn 2. It looked like the car did that usual Charlotte plow, if you will. As you get down there, you look like you're feeling good through 1 and 2, and all of a sudden you get to a certain point coming out of the corner. It's like you start to release the wheel and it just slides.
Yeah, it was that last run. I mean, I was giving it all I had. I hadn't run that hard all night, so it was just kind of a little bit of uncharted territory. This car seemed to kind of like it. Like when you could kind of push the nose a tiny bit on exit, like try to. I don't know how to describe it. It was just
Almost
trying to
lift
like
the car
get the
up,
power
maybe.
down.
Yeah,
Get the power down early, but like kind of use that right front up a little bit. If you could use the right front off the corner, it wouldn't snap loose well like a lot of guys are having. But it was a real fine line, because if you did it just a little bit too much, you'd plow the wall down. So it was really just about trying to almost drive it tight. Thankfully, like I said, I think Matthew probably had a little bit faster car there, but I think he made a couple mistakes trying to get near me. I don't know if he just, like I said, it looked like he got real loose one time when he got real close to me. So I don't know if he just missed his line or just he didn't have any downforce and it just got a little loose. But he's a hell of a competitor. I've been on that side of it. Where you lead, most of the race and it gets stolen from you. So I know how that feels. But I'm going to enjoy this one, especially after last week with a nice little mistake that could have cost me another win or at least a good run. And thankfully now we're only 1 point behind Casey, so it's still anybody's game for the championship.
Yeah, fantastic effort. And the other thing I wanted to point out, I think was key tonight, was your pit entries. You seem to make up a lot of time coming into the pits. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I practiced it a couple times during the practice just to get a feel for it, because I didn't want to get in the race and not really know where to brake. And
right.
I know the last green flag one, I didn't mean to go in it that deep. I just kind of, I was focusing on the other cars, and I was like, oh, that was my mark. I start braking. So I started braking and downshifting in it. I was like, well, I don't really need these tires anymore. So if I use them up getting in, that's fine. I mean, I was dirt tracking it. I feel like I was in a late model for a little bit getting in, but I felt like that was a really good thing. Cause I feel like I made up a lot of time doing that. Cause I know I pitted like 3 or 4 laps after Casey did, just I wanted the fresher tires on the long run. So, and I feel like that entry helped me not lose as much ground to them, and that really helped me, eventually pass them. So I think that pit entry, it was kind of, I don't want to say a mistake, but it wasn't on purpose to go in that hot, but it wound up working out really well for us.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and send some shout-outs if you like to.
Yeah, big shout out Brantley, Harpoon Design. He designs all my cars. He does awesome work, so check him out at harpoondesign.com, or he's got almost 2,000 on Trade and Paint, so if you just want to check out some of his previous work, there's plenty of them to pick from on there. So check him out. And then big shout out to my family tuning into these broadcasted races. I always appreciate them. Support. Staying up late. They could be doing whatever else they want on a Friday night, but they're sitting here behind their TV watching me race on a virtual racetrack. So I really appreciate all the support they give me. And a shout out to the league. I mean, this race almost went caution free at Charlotte with this car. It was a handful at sometimes. So, I mean, that is a huge accomplishment. I had 2 cautions the entire race, and the first one didn't come out until after lap 100. So that's a huge accomplishment. Just shows how good this league is, how good it can be. Hopefully we can keep it up, the momentum. And I guess final shout out to you on the broadcast. Should be fun to go back and watch, because I know it was a little more stressful for me in the car. So maybe I'll be able to sit back and enjoy it a little bit more the second time I watch it.
They always say a race is a game of inches. I think the most interesting part of the whole race, I haven't said anything about it yet to you, is you coming out of pit road. Because when you watch how close you came to crossing the line in 2, it almost didn't even happen.
I was just trying to ride the outside of the it's like a little, almost like the apron had like a little, like it was kind of like Darlington where it got up to where it was, and I was trying to just ride that, and there was a couple times I knew it got a little close, so I wasn't really trying to push it, but I was just trying to use that outside line, and I knew there was a couple times I got a little close for comfort on them.
Hey, it worked out for you, man. Nice job.
Appreciate it.
Mark Whitley, the winner here tonight. The come from behind victory, if you will. Going to victory lane here in the Queen City 200 here at Charlotte. As next week we head over to Indianapolis and get ready from the Brickyard, the third running of that race. Of course, the points battle getting more and more tight as we go here. There it is. Carrington leads by 1 over Mark Whitley. Matthew Weeks jumps a spot over Zach Henry by 28 now. He sits back, so another couple good finishes. He could be right back in this race. Zach Henry still right there. Christopher Heller still right there, considering the season he has had. Miles still right there. Jordan Owens has been impressive there in 7th. Kyle Ether, J.W. Miller, Nick Leo had a rough run tonight, finishing in the 10th position. So still plenty of time to go. Still just at the halfway point. And this is your point where you can flip that switch and go put up 1 or 2 or 3 straight wins, just like Whitley has done, and be right there in the battle for the championship. So still plenty of time to go as we head to Indianapolis next week. So looking forward to the third running of the Brickyard 200. Of course, the last time it was ran was season 4. And in that race, we only had 1 caution. So plenty of things could happen come next week here at the Brickyard. So looking forward to that. All right, let's head out. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.